Hello. It is quiet here. Walter Forbes has fallen forward, and his right shoulder is on his desk. He is smiling. The faint hum of the portal has ended, and you are not sure if you still exist. If you were attempting to prove it, where would you even start? A stream of blood drips from Forbes' left arm onto the tile. You have abandoned this place. Perhaps someone will find a use for it someday. You find yourself somewhere black. Roll D100. All of you.
Light is so red. I have a hard time telling, but that's a 45.
I have Lissa Gasmere, looking particularly ghostly tonight, with a 45.
Brenner Oswick with a 67.
Brenner Oswick with one arm and a 67.
Ada with a 41.
Taldra with a 51.
Ada Worthware with many transgressions and a 41. Taldred Talton with mercifully few transgressions and a 51.
Yours with a 27.
Euros, Queenslayer with a 27.
Nothing gold with a knapsack full of regrets and 78.
What more could I say? One moment. Nothing gold with a 78. You find yourself in a small room with Tierney Fang. He is already speaking. The fact that you have made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step. He glowers wordlessly at you. It's your turn.
Do I have all my items?
It seems that you do. You pat yourself and find that you appear to be in one piece and as whole as one can be. Nothing gold.
She takes Obsessor out of her knapsack and tries to stab him.
You stab through him incredibly easily. He's illusory.
Couldn't be bothered to visit me in person.
He glowers wordlessly and seems to be looking past you. He's unresponsive and doesn't blink. Go ahead.
He's not making eye contact with me.
He is not.
If I turn, can I see who he thinks he's talking to?
He seems to be looking at someone who could be sitting in the desk.
Who evidently is not giving him the answers he wants to hear. Shit, does this mean I am now both the angel and the devil on fucking Tierney Vang's shoulder?
The room is too small to echo your words.
It's all black. If I just dart forward, do I hit a wall?
You run into a thick granite wall. Take 3 bludgeoning.
Ow.
It hurts.
Alright, Gasmere? Ada? No?
You see no Gasmere or Ada here. You only see illusory Tyranny Fang. There is a grate in the floor and 2 desks. There is a hatch on the back right wall.
Sorry, how many desks?
2.
Anything in them?
You find something. But give me 1 second. Let us find Brenner Oswick with a 67. 1 moment. Brenner Oswick. You find yourself in a quiet room. There are 4 portals here, each illuminated by a faint light. It is perfectly quiet. You find that the structure of your arm is starting to fill in with an incredibly dense and hard wood, somewhere between ebony and heartwood itself. Your AC improves by 2. You can parry many blows with your arm, even as it continues to develop and grow. It's quiet here.
First thing Brett would do is 100% check if anyone followed him behind the port. He'd move out of the way in case people were coming from behind.
I don't see anyone. Do you?
You take a spear out, just start to case around the wall. How brightly lit is it from these portals?
It is dim, yet you have no problem seeing yourself. There are no torches in the room, and the peculiar light from the portals illuminates you well enough.
Does there seem to be doorways in any of these walls?
There seem to be no less than 4 of them. 4 doors, 2 on the east and 2 on the west.
What does he see with this faceless reaver?
You see, whatever it is, it seems to not notice you. It seems to be... Go ahead.
You quietly try to approach.
You approach it. It has no face and seems to be a suit of armor. It resembles, if only superficially, the suit of armor that you saw in the Rose Boulevard markets. It also reminds you a bit of Hans.
Sorry, I was trying to piece together exactly which one you were talking about, but come on. Seeing what that thing can do, I back off and try to tap on the door.
With your spear?
Yep.
The door feels rather solid.
Does it have a handle of some sort?
It does. It has a handle and a keyhole.
Check if it's locked first.
You jiggle the handle. It's locked and firmly so.
You do one 360 around the room, making sure there's no cupboards or anything to piece behind, and eventually find himself back towards the faceless reaver. Try to pat it down.
Make an investigation check.
20 works. 15 flat.
You find little chipped slivers of a black substance, something very hard. It reminds you of the smell of garden reach. We'll revisit you momentarily. We have Taldred Talton with a 51. Taldred, 1 moment. Taldred. You find yourself in a tight hallway. The smell of creosote hangs in the air. You cough reflexively, and you realize that you have gained the attention of someone. There is an orc here, and seeing you, he adopts a big grin. What are you doing here? Are you an errant coal shoveler? Or one of my bodyguards?
Taldred looks around.
You see narrow walls.
Anything behind him?
Not that you can see. Perhaps a distant door. The hallway has to end somewhere, right? He has a big smile on his face.
Taldred reaches for he like rummages around for his pack of cigarettes, and he reaches in and he's out. And he goes, he throws the pack on the ground. He says, "What I am is out of cigarettes."
The orc nods his head as if he wants to help you with your affliction. He thinks about it for a moment. I'm fairly sure that the Dwergar smokes. I've seen him doing it before, although I know he'd never do it in the coal room. But that doesn't answer my question. He peers down at you. Why are you here? We'll revisit you in a moment, Taldred. Lissa Gastmere with a 45. You find yourself somewhere a bit hemmed in. This must be a conference room or a meeting room of some kind. There's books, papers, chairs around the table. 2 torches in here are lit.
Yasna immediately spins and checks the corners. And if there's nothing too dangerous, she begins to prowl the room.
This room is tiny. There's not much room to prowl. There's a locked door, and you find the 4 corners of the room easily.
Her lip is stuck in a curl. She looks annoyed. And she takes a look at all the papers on the desk. Table.
Roll investigation.
Let's see. Two. I'm a professional.
You find something, but you have a sense.
3!
A 3. You have a sense that there must be more interesting or salient things to find. One moment. It's in party items. And we will revisit you soon, Lissa Gastmere. Ada Worthware with a 41. One moment. Ada, you find yourself in a tiny spit of a corridor. There are walls, ceilings, and doors, and little else.
Whatever door I'm facing toward, I'll try the handle.
It's locked. You think you can hear voices on the other side.
Can I feel air coming in from either door underneath? I'll feel around it.
You can't. And you're starting to feel a bit claustrophobic. These doors seem nearly airtight. You have a feeling that people are not supposed to be in here for extended periods of time.
I will press my ear to the door and try and hear what's happening.
Make a perception check. You hear two distinct voices, although you cannot understand what they are saying. One sounds feminine and one sounds masculine, and these are not voices that you know.
I will press my ear to the other door.
Pressing your ear to the other door, you hear silence.
I'm going to try the door that doesn't have voices, this time a little more frantically. Are the hinges on the outside or the inside of this door?
The hinges are... so if you are facing west, the hinges are on your right side facing inward.
So I cannot access them.
You can access them.
If I can't open the door, I'm going to start working away at the hinges.
Using...
I will probably use whatever small blade I have with me. I imagine I have some bolts from my crossbow. Perhaps I'll use the tip of a bolt to try and pry the pin out of the hinge.
You do so, using the tip of your bolt to attempt to pry the pin out of this hinge. You realize that this pin, perhaps using the spell Heat Metal, seems like it has lips on the top and the bottom to defeat simple forms of intrusion.
Is this room... Which of these conditions is this room in? Too hot or too cold?
It's becoming too hot as you start to worry about such matters, and we'll come back to you, Ada Worthware. I have Euros with a 27. One moment. Euros. You find yourself in a musty room. 2 people are already here, and they look between you instantly. One says, "Are you Burnside?" The other says, No, it's part of the test. Parry! Block! He pantomimes fighting against an invisible opponent in hand-to-hand combat. Then she follows. They both appear to be parrying and blocking invisible blows.
You don't want to parry and block at the same time. You're just going to leave yourself open.
I think it is Burnside. Okay, tell us more.
Of course. What would you like to know?
They look between each other. Well, this is the last day, so if there's anything you wish us to know, it seems like... No, never mind, I didn't mean to speak out of turn. And we'll come back to you in a moment, Euros. At the top of the order, we have Nothing Gold. Nothing Gold, you hear Tierney Fang's voice. He says, "Welcome to Step 3 of Customs Operative Training. The fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step." You were looking in the desk, and you find something in the desk. One moment. It's in party items. Tierney Fang is still glowering at nothing in particular.
Is there anything in the other desk?
There is not.
And behind Tierney is a wall.
That's right. 10 feet behind Tierney is a wall. There are thin sluices in the floor as if they're designed to move fluid toward a single central grate. And there's a hatch in the back right wall. 2 torches illuminate the room.
Can she grab one of the torches? Do they come off the wall?
You may.
She will grab one and make her way back towards this hatch.
You do so. It opens outward.
I think she looks out towards the hatch opening and then, still thinking about whatever crazy loop this Tierney figment is in, she turns back to him and says somewhat questioningly, "I'm ready for the next step."
He seems not to notice you.
Alright, I just am a ghost now, I guess. I'm fucking haunting you, I hope.
You feel rather haunting.
She'll turn towards the hatch and squirm through.
You'd have to open it first.
Can she? If she pushes on it?
You push on it, nothing happens.
Do I see my hands pushing against it?
You do. You can feel it. There are 2 bars that would allow it to be manipulated for access, you assume, but pushing on it yields nothing.
There are 2 bars. What? Okay. And these sluices that I see just run into like little mouse holes in the walls.
That's right. Well, they little mouse holes in the ground. There's nothing. There's no origin point for the sluices. They just lead downward toward the grate, as if the room would need to be suddenly drained or something like that. Feeling a bit puzzled, Nothing Gold?
Well, I have heat metal. Could I cast heat metal on the bars of this hatch?
Do you try?
Yes, I think with her arm with the ridges in it, she holds that forward and places it against the wall and tries to contact the Seldarine.
You surge with the power of the Seldarine. However, everything seems dulled here. This spell costs you 2 spell slots. You heat the metal of this hatch. It glows red hot. It holds its shape, but it is now glowing red hot, heating the small room considerably.
Can she take one of the chairs and just start banging on that softened metal?
You can. Picking up one of the chairs, you smash at the hatch. The metal is soft and ductile and eventually starts to give. After a long moment, the hatch falls to the ground with a loud chunk. Euros, you hear a strange chunk to your north. Gasmir, you hear a strange chunk to your east. Looking into what lies beyond the hatch, Nothing Gold, you see something. It's just a tiny little room, a tiny space, 5 feet by 5 feet, and there's a bunch of old swords just lying in a pile there. There's probably 10 of them.
In what kind of condition? What are they made out of?
They feel like metal. It's tough to say beyond that. Certainly they're not enchanted, and they seem rather dulled by something. And they show strange wear marks. Wear along the hilt, wear along the bottom of the handguard.
At the bottom of the handguard?
Something about them seems vaguely magical.
Okay, she will pick up a sword in each hand.
You try to grab 2 of these swords, but it is as if there is some type of elastic property to them holding them together. Something about them, you try to grab one and you can put your hand around it, but it won't come with you. You can influence them, but only for a moment before they snap back into place. It almost seems like they're arranged in a ring.
They're with the points inwards or outwards?
Both of the above. They're arranged rather haphazardly. The wear marks seem to suggest that some type of outer ring has contacted many things around it.
I wish Ada were here.
You wish that Ada was here to help you. Roll Arcana at disadvantage.
Uh, 21.
It seems like this is probably awaiting activation.
Yes, this does seem like a portal of some kind.
Let's come back to you, Nothing Gold. Brenner Oswick. You find yourself in a contemplative little room, staring down some type of faceless armor.
Upon prodding, this thing is completely unresponsive so far, right?
Completely unresponsive.
Taking the chips of the creosote in hand, there's 3 other portals in this room. When we traveled through our portal, it was blue, correct?
To the best of your recollection.
And it seems like Brenner has popped out in his mind near a green one. Under the assumption that these portals were supposed to be one way, I'll toss the creosote through one of them, this north one with the red.
You toss the creosote at or through this portal. It doesn't seem to be activated. There's just a simple crimson glow that suggests that this has the properties of a portal, but it's as if it's waiting for something. You observe that this portal does have a keyhole, just like the one on the other side did.
In that Brenner has no key. I'll check the Faceless Reaver to make sure that it has nothing on it whatsoever. These things are hollow, like a suit of armor with machinery inside.
If you rap on it with your hand, it sounds like there's something inside of there. It's not just a simple suit of armor. You know that the animated armor that you saw in Arabel had nothing inside of it. In fact, there were no spots where limbs would be. It was holding pieces of its own armor aloft. This seems to be one contiguous unit.
Does the faceplate move?
You try to touch the faceplate. It seems to be welded in place. Something about this reminds you of the infrastructure of your new arm.
In an attempt of confusion, I'll try to jiggle every other handle within going counterclockwise.
Locked, 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 and locked. Ada, someone jiggles the handle on the other side of your door.
Does it look like, from circling back around to the suit of armor, does it look like there's plates that you could fit the tip of the spear into?
It does. You could potentially wedge your spear into the plates of the armor, should you so desire.
He'll try to do so and attempt to pry open something to see if he can see if there's anything inside.
Where do you pry?
Probably in the chest plate to midsection.
You start to pry apart the chest plate and midsection of this strange suit of armor. Prying the armor apart, you find that it is solid within. But there are no signs of... I don't know what you're looking for, but you certainly don't find it.
Keys.
You find no keys. We'll come back to you, Brenner Roswick. Taldred Talton. You get a sense of how large this orc is. He must be 8 feet tall, and this hallway is not a good environment for him. You realize that he is wearing a name tag. It says, Burnside, Instructor. He is wearing a simple, not even a rope, but rather a body strap that gives him total freedom. He's smiling at you. He seems rather friendly. He peers down at you like you're a strange little bug.
Taldred says, I came in one of the portals. I wasn't supposed to end up here. I don't know what's going on. Seems like the guys maintaining the portals are slacking off again.
Ah, portal meat. Perfect.
Portal meat?
He nods and walks closer to you. He pokes you in the chest. Portal meat.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Come on, let's get you your cigarette.
I need to get to the portal room.
We're on our way through the portal room. Come on, follow me.
Excellent. Yes, let's go.
Instructor Burnside sees a Duergar who is shoveling coal into a small wheelbarrow. He says, Living the dream? The Dwergar says, I dream of this place, and rubs his brow. Instructor Burnside says, carry on then!
Hey, does he have the cigarettes?
You'll have to ask him. They're not mine to give.
Soldier approaches him and goes, "Can I get a cig?"
The Dwergar produces a grimy cigarette without question. It's mildly bent in the middle, and he pulls it out of his overalls. He hands it to you.
Soldier takes it and goes, "Yeah, that'll do."
Instructor Burnside removes a keyring from his right pocket and fumbles with it as he goes to open this door.
How many keys?
You think there's probably at least 2 keys on there, but it's hard to see because he just got it in there and is now opening it. Come on, little meat.
Oh, I'm coming.
And we will revisit you momentarily. We find ourselves with Lissa Gasmere.
She will grab this book or document and shove it somewhere where she keeps her things. Maybe somebody else would like to have a look at it. But clearly this is not the time for reading. There's a single door in this room, correct?
That's right.
She heads to the door and tries it.
You try the handle. It's locked.
She twists it really, really hard.
Make a strength check. You twist and then twist again. The handle comes off in your hand.
Does it remove the lock as well?
It does not. Whatever mechanism is holding the door shut is still present as you push on the door, and nothing happens.
She's going to reach inside because presumably there's a hole now that she removed the handle, and she's going to try and dismantle the lock next.
Make another strength check.
That is a 20, so that's a 29.
You start ripping at this door, and you find just a little bit of a lip between the outside face of the door and whatever mechanism is inside. You start pulling, and it starts giving way. This might take a little bit of time, but you're essentially peeling this door apart, Gasmere. Yoros, from over your shoulder, you can hear the sound of metal groaning and creaking.
I'll look at it perplexed.
You do so.
Do your doors always do that?
The two look between each other. They shake their heads. And then Kirsch, who has shared his name with you by now, that you've been occupying a little bit of space together, says, "Wait, is this part of the test? It is my door. It does do that. No, wait. It doesn't. Fuck, I'm gonna fail. Fuck.
Not gonna fail on my watch. Land on your feet. We'll see what comes through.
He immediately jumps up and lands on his feet.
Light on the feet, light on the mind.
You can tell he's mentally taking notes on that. Gasmere, you're starting to peel this door apart. It's coming apart in your hand.
Keep doing it. This is probably slightly more quiet than kicking it in, so...
Certainly it is. Yes, this is certainly more quiet than if you just kicked it down with your boot. And you are starting to peel it apart. Eventually, you sense that if it was warped enough, you'd just be able to push right through it. Speaking of doors, Ada Worthware, you find yourself increasingly surrounded by doors. Is this room getting smaller, or is it just you?
I'd like to inspect the ceiling. Do the doors run all the way up to the ceiling? I have my staff with me. I'm going to try and poke at walls to see how hollow they sound.
None of the walls feel hollow, and there is no, for example, transom above the door to allow for ventilation or anything like that. The seal seems air and or water tight.
I am going to look at the lock, and without the eye of a master locksmith, I'm going to try and get through it, if I can.
Using what?
For now, I'm just going to inspect it, look about the size of the keyhole, and see if I can wedge anything into it.
Make an investigation check. You wish that Roger Dale were here. The opening,
He is.
the opening is small enough that you could get the point of one of your crossbow bolts into it. Peering into the lock, you see that this is securitized enough that you can't simply see through it, but the lock appears mechanical in nature. You sense nothing arcane about this lock.
I would like to cast Locate Person.
You cast Locate Person, surging with the power of the Demon Weave. The Demon Weave is difficult to contact here. This costs 2 spell slots.
Would the second spell slot also be the same level?
Yes.
Just like consume one of my other spells?
That's correct.
Awesome. I hate it.
Who are you attempting to locate?
Tyranny Fang.
Let me read the spell text on Locate Person, which is Locate Creature, right?
Yeah.
One moment. Tyranny Fang is here. Tyranny Fang is roughly 500 feet below you.
Below me. Okay. Good to know. I imagine that'll take my time as I concentrate on this spell.
I would agree. Euros. You find yourself with 2 willing disciples. You can tell they're taking in every word you say and everything you don't say. Kirsch tells you, always land on my feet. Always land on my feet. Okay.
I mean, yes, always land on your feet, but be quick on them too.
Be quick on our feet? Okay. Emerel walks back and forth quickly.
Well, I mean, that's one way to do it. I'm gonna walk up and investigate this lock that's being ripped open.
It sounds like this door is being destroyed from the other side by some type of terrible creature. Whatever it is, it must be unbelievably strong. You imagine something like a giant direwolf, a manticore, an odiug, a mastodon.
Is this table mounted to the wall?
It is not.
Can I push it in front of the door?
You can. You push this wooden table in front of the door, blocking it and potentially barring the door. Kirsch and Emerel instantly follow suit. Emerel pushes the table in front of the bottom door. Kirsch does the same for the top door.
We We just need to block this door. That's the one being ripped apart. What? You're overthinking this.
Kirsch looks down and says, "Fuck! Fuck!" He starts pushing the table back. Amaryl resumes, walking back and forth quickly. Quick on my feet, quick on my feet. Fast on my feet, fast on my feet.
I'm guessing there's like what, crossbow and some bolts and stuff on this table.
That's exactly right.
I'm gonna grab the crossbow and some bolts.
Amaryl grabs a morning star and a shield. Kirsch grabs a mace.
And I'm gonna take the butt of the crossbow and just kind of smack it against the door. See if there's a response.
You do so. Gasmere, something goes thud on your door.
She stops for a moment and listens.
Describe how you listen.
She'll tilt her head towards the door, but not like press against it too much. Try and listen if there's like a pattern to the sounds.
There is. There's voices, there's movement. You hear the sound of battle gear being readied.
She will announce, whoever is on the other side of this door best be ready to kill me, because I shall rip you apart as soon as I'm through it.
Euros, you hear a dull, distant voice. You can't quite hear what's being said, but it sounds rather threatening. Make an intelligence saving throw. You don't recognize the voice, but it sounds rather threatening. Whatever was just said was definitely a threat.
Is there anybody else? Is there something in this room up north? Or what's in this room? Is it a wolf? Monster?
You're asking Kirsch and Amaryl?
Correct.
They look between each other. Probably a traveler. She says, "No, I don't think it's a traveler. It's a miscreant."
Okay.
No, it's a... Fuck! What is it? Kirsch takes the mace and slams it on the table.
You got this, Kirsch.
You feel like he certainly does and appreciates your encouragement. We will check back with you, Euros. At the top of the order, everyone went right, I believe. Yes. Nothing gold. You hear a voice. The voice says, the fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step."
Okay, so that long pause was her scribbling that down in some other, probably actually on the margins of the book that she picked up. Okay, so first things first, this circle, does it look like anything could be missing from it? Like, more swords?
A few questions. One, you said you scribbled something. What did you scribble?
Exactly what Tierney said.
Got it. Okay. You transcribe what Tierney said onto the paper. As you do that, something seems to happen. As you're investigating the swords, they seem to activate. they start moving in concentric circles as if possessed by some type of external force. 2 clips fall off of the hatch. The hatch is now completely broken, but you sense that were the hatch still intact, this would have freed whatever this is. Make a dexterity saving throw.
$11.
This thing goes right past your head. One moment. Take 4 slashing damage. And starts to pace around the room.
She trees. She just holds very still as if she is a tree.
It's coming for you again. It treats you like a tree, smashing and cutting and trimming you.
With intent? Or just because I'm in its way?
What's the difference? Take 11 slashing.
Okay, she will, I guess, start running towards the other end of the room.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna mark the damage. $15.
It passes just over your head. This thing is faster than you are. And we'll revisit you momentarily, Nothing Gold. Brenner Oswick.
With the 2 forms to my west dribbling keys in the doors and Ada banging around on her lock, does he hear these things?
You can certainly hear, I think Ada's being rather subtle. On the other hand, you think you hear a key in a lock or someone jiggling something to your west.
Upon hearing that, Brenner will position himself in the northeast corner, crouch down, spear out, and just wait.
You do so. Care to prepare an action?
If there's somebody he doesn't know, he's going to stab.
Understood. Speaking of people you do or don't know, Taldry Taunton, Instructor Burnside opens the second door and walks into the portal room.
Taldred immediately looks around for anyone else from his group.
You see Brenner Oswick preparing to stab. He is standing next to some suit of armor. Brenner, there's an 8-foot-tall orc walking towards you. Something about his garb reminds you of holy men that you have met before. He looks down at you with a big, warm smile. He says, "Who's that, then? Must be some kind of coal digger, I'm guessing?"
What is it with you and the coal?
Not a coal digger. Do I recognize Taldred's voice?
I imagine I would recognize your. And Taldred goes, Brenner?
Yeah, I think.
Ah, the portal meat knows the portal meat.
Yeah,
Perfect.
he's with me.
I mean, I know you're the friendly type, but we've been here for, what, 5 minutes? Who is this?
This is Burnside.
I'm sure you know his life story. I'm Brenner.
What's wrong with this one? Did it inhale coal dust? Portal meat.
What? That's,
Come-
first of all, that's, you know what, whatever.
Come help me with this one.
What do you need help with?
I think there's something wrong with it.
What do you mean?
Brenner will self-consciously look at himself.
Brenner, the orc nudges your chest plate with a big meaty finger.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with you?
I've seen better days. What's wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me. Regardless, what? Customs are you?
Brenner just looks at Taldred.
I told you. We're here to see Tierney Fang.
Here to see the spy master?
Yes, and you're not supposed to know that, though.
I don't feel like I know much. Sometimes that's a strength, little meat.
You know everything you need to.
Hey, what did you do to my armor friend? That's my faceless reaver. What did you do to him?
It was like that when I got here.
Taldred is giving thumbs up from behind the orc.
Make a deception check.
Oh yeah. $18?
He tilts his head. He seems inquisitive to this explanation. Very well. It's a maintenance concern, I suppose.
It was probably those dickheads who were slacking on the portal. What did I tell you?
You're full of interesting words, little meat.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Well, come along, I suppose. Excuse me, second meat.
Brenner will relent,
Thank you.
thinking back to the ogre in the box.
Instructor Burnside takes out his keyring and opens the door. It is thus that we visit Taldry Talton. You are following Instructor Burnside, it seems.
Yep.
Your turn flows into Lissa Gastmir's. Gastmir, you succeed in doing something. Prying the door off of its track. You finally pull this thing off, and it comes apart with a loud clang. You could just push the door open if you wanted to.
She will attempt to do that.
You do so, and see something. You see a large orc coming into the room at the same time you are. In the back of the room, behind your companion Yoros, is a woman walking back and forth very quickly, and a man brandishing a mace, waiting for nothing in particular.
Euros, she says as she steps into the room and nearly runs into this orc, apparently.
He puts his hands on his hips and looks down at you. Am I the one being tested today? How strange. Look at you. Just look at you. He leans down and touches your cheek. Touches you.
Immediately slaps his hand.
How did you get here? What are you? What happened to my door? Meet one.
Seems it malfunctioned.
Meet three. Did you make my door malfunction? Who is that one? Burnside shakes his head.
I mean, you can't expect me to know everyone. As a first meet, I think I would hardly get along with a third meet.
You are now demoted to second meet.
Oh!
You there. Behind him, you are now first meet.
Brenner just nod.
Very good.
Taldred turns around and goes, kiss ass.
Will one of you explain what in all the hells is going on?
Gersh, Arabellan, who's this?
They're both continuing to pantomime things. As you say Emerald's name, she turns to look at you and says, fast to my feet, fast to my feet. Like you said, fast to my feet. Kirsch looks increasingly neurotic and says, fuck, who's that one? Wait, that's Burnside. He looks increasingly frustrated. He says, I don't want to go back to the pits.
You're not going back to the pits. You're doing fine.
Ada, you hear a commotion behind one of the doors. Suddenly, many voices at once seem to rise up. You hear people talking. You can't possibly tell what they're saying.
I would like to cast Eldritch Blast at the door where the voices are not coming from. And I'm gonna kind of do the thing where, you know, you're like smushing a spider or something, where you hold it really far away from you, and you don't really want to do it, but here it goes.
You do so, firing an Eldritch Blast in this extremely confined space. Are you pointing it at the hinges, at the door?
The hinges. I'm trying to dislodge the hinges.
This door has 2 hinges. You blast the bottom one off. It flies around the room and narrowly misses you.
I'm going to try and do the same with the other hinge. And as soon as it gets all out of my hand, it's like throwing a baseball straight up into the air. I'm gonna guard my head.
You do so. Ada, you blast this hinge off of the door. There's only one issue. This door opens inward.
So toward me.
That's right.
Is there anything I can grab on the fascia of this door?
There is a handle.
I'm going to pull as hard as my little body can muster.
Where will you go as this door falls forward?
Yeah, I am hoping that the length of the door will not fall flat in this hallway. It looks like the vertical height of the door will kind of make a triangle. Is that correct?
You do so. As this happens, it is correct. It makes a triangle. Unfortunately, you are now trapped under this door. You have made a triangle with the door over top of your head.
How heavy is this door?
Extremely. You push
Not
against it.
Great.
You feel increasingly claustrophobic. You are clumped up under this door.
I am going to try to wedge myself underneath the door, and I'm going to use my staff to try and give myself a little I'm going to rotate this door since it's off its hinges and laying across the way, and I'm going to use my staff as a lever to try and rotate it. And as I do that, I'm going to try and skirt out of the way if it slides around.
Make an athletics check.
My favorite. $18. 19 on die.
You use the length of your staff as a lever to try to get this door to just twist away from you, just so you can get a little bit of rotational inertia and then jump out of the way. You push up against it. You hear your staff begin to crack. Do you keep pushing?
I don't think I have an option, so yes.
You do so.
I'm committed.
You are committed. You push as hard as you can, pushing with the staff. The door moves just enough for you to scramble, and you do so successfully, but as soon as you move out of the way, your staff snaps in half and is trapped underneath the fallen door.
I will satisfiedly nod.
You find yourself looking at an empty doorway toward what seems to be a small room composed of something that you know, Ada. These are arcane portals. This must be a node in the portal network.
I will mentally think back to the river that I just failed to leap across and feel fairly satisfied with myself.
You have a sense of athleticism. You used your body to overcome an obstacle.
I will pass the torch.
Speaking of torches, Nothing Gold, you are still holding a torch in your hand, and you notice something. Your blood is running through the sluices toward the grate in the middle of the room. Tierney Fang says, "The fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step." The Blade Fiend hums around the room menacingly. Once it passes its little home, it resets itself, landing in a small concentric circle.
Alright, so what would Nothing Gold think of this whole mechanism? Like, what is explaining Tierney even being projected here? Because as far as she knows, illusions only last so long and have to be controlled by someone. And this dog is clearly a construct, but again, it's not being controlled by anything. She says, bleeding.
Something about this doesn't quite make sense to you. You try to piece it together. It's quiet in here once again.
All right, well, I have determined at least that this book activates that mechanism over there. I don't fucking know the answers to this question. And so she'll pull out her message rock and see if she can message Ada.
You attempt to send a message to Ada Worthware. What's your message?
Ada Worthware, are you alive?
Yes.
Oh. Thank goodness. Where are you?
Unclear. Some kind of portal room. I think we were trapped when we teleported here. I'm limited on characters, correct?
Can you describe the walls? Are they also stone?
Stone, ebon black. We're inside Zental Keep. I confirmed it.
Okay, I'm somewhere else in the keep. I'm looking at a projection of the fucking spy master we're supposed to kill, who is asking me questions.
Questions?
Tierney
Yes,
says, "The fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step."
She sort of flaps her arm through him as if to try to shut him up while he repeats his little animatronic display.
It is unsuccessful.
It succeeds in making her forget what exactly she was talking about.
Ada, Nothing Gold's message abruptly stops.
Oh, he just never fucking shuts up.
Various meets. Instructor Burnside walks to the center of the room. He looks at you very paternally. He notices that some of his tables have moved and starts to move them back into place. Now, being that today is your last day, I thought we might have a bit of fun. Do you like fun?
Yeah. I don't see why not.
Very good. He walks over to you and pats your head. He looms over you, seeming to appraise you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. These.
Perhaps you'd like to do a bit of sparring,
I mean, I'm always down to spar. What about these two? I was helping them out.
What's your AC?
Is it nighttime?
You're not sure. You tell me your AC as if it's during the day. Burnside moves unbelievably quickly and attacks 4 times. 2 of them hit. He does non-lethal bludgeoning damage to you. You sense that he's hitting you very softly. You take 2 damage. Just, come on then. I've taught you how to block and parry, haven't I? Haven't I? This one doesn't look familiar.
You have. I'm more of a light on my feet kind of guy.
As you say this, Amarell says, light on my feet, light on my feet. She does a little dance in place. Kirsch follows Burnside's lead and attempts to strike you with his mace. He misses. You sense that he's not going easy on you.
It's a good swing.
Nothing gold. Tierney says, the fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next
Thank you.
step.
All right. Okay. Gasmere.
You reach out, using the message spell for Alyssa Gastmere.
It goes through, presumably.
It does.
Nothing gold.
Are
Still
you-
alive.
Yes.
Where are
So-
you?
I'm in some kind of testing chamber.
Is Miss Worthware with you?
No, she is somewhere else, but she's determined that we're in the keep at least. And if you're in some kind of stone room, and she'll get the same description that Ada did, it's likely you are too.
I have most of the others with me.
Okay, I have a book that needs answers. And if I put in the wrong ones, I get fucked up.
Wonderful.
I know. I thought you'd enjoy that.
How about you do not put in any answers just yet, then?
Okay,
We
are
will
you
attempt to find you?
are you near a library? Are you
Sort of. There were documents.
what kinds of documents?
Dreadfully boring ones. How about I find Miss Worthware? She loves dreadfully boring documents.
Okay, yes, please do. You said most of the others are with you?
Yes. 3 of them. One of them might even be useful.
Which one?
That is up for debate.
Okay, I guess I'll judge based on which of them you don't assign transgressions to.
Taldred, Burnside turns to you, looking down at you, and says, "Me too." Think quickly, and attempts to shove you.
Taldred blocks with his shield.
You do so successfully. Burnside looks impressed.
I want to do an insight on these other 2 guys who are clearly out of their depth, and they seem very quick to try and please. Correct?
I think that's a reasonable impression to take.
Taldred turns to them, and he speaks with a voice of authority. He tries to, anyways, alright? And he says, "You two, what are you doing in here?"
They turn between each other and then look at you, Euros. They both stop and say, "Burnside, do we have to answer that?" Kirsch says, "Fuck, we should have already answered it."
He says, so a man walks in here
I'm
with
here.
a name tag that says Burnside, and you assume it's him?
Kirsch runs his hand through his hair. Fuck, there was a name tag. He shakes his head and looks off to the side. Fuck.
Soldier said, "Who should you really be fighting?"
I don't remember that being on... Oh, that was not on the study guide. I have never seen anything like that before. There's no way, shape, or form that I would be expected to... I can't believe this. Look, I just do not want to go back to the pits. Please don't... Oh, God.
I'll put my arm on his shoulder.
Nothing gold. Tierney says, "The fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot
Okay,
of
she's
confidence in your
messaging, I
abilities."
guess, Yoros of all people so that he can hear this going on in the background. And in fact, I think even if he can't hear it, because not sure if message can pick up ambient, she'll use the cantrip minor illusion to basically repeat what Tierney just said in Tierney's voice.
Euros, you hear a distorted version of someone saying something. It's hard to tell what's going on. You receive a message in your head that is difficult to discern. Is this more of the same? Is that still going on?
Can we just pay the bill?
Does she hear that back?
I think so. Yes, it sounds like it.
Yoros, it's nothing gold.
Can we just pay the bill?
Oh, what are you hearing?
Adelworth, where? You find yourself in this portal room.
I will inspect the portals.
Make an Arcana check.
Six.
Sorry, what's 6?
26.
26. You determine that these are cargo portals. These are usually meant for bringing in mass quantities of something, be it hard goods or people.
I would like to check the ground to see if there's evidence of detritus going through any of these portals so I can determine differentiation. Like maybe there's some wheelbarrow marks. Maybe there's some things like that.
That is exactly right. You observe that the western portal, the blue portal, has dust in a arc around it, as if it's being used to move some type of black substance en masse. Tracks lead to the west doors.
Do I notice this suit of armor?
Of course you do. How could you not?
It just looks like a distinct suit of armor, and questionably has something inside of it.
That's exactly right.
I am going to continue my inspection of these portals, walking around the room. As I make my first pass past this suit of armor, I will see if it moves at all to my presence, and if not, I will just consider it inert.
Make 2 Arcana checks. Give me them one at a time, please.
24.
Okay, let's resolve the 24 first. The 24. Something about this suit of armor reminds you of nothing gold. It does seem inert, however. Roll the second Arcana check.
21.
You sense that all 4 of these portals are currently closed, and you mentally inventory their colors. They are green, crimson, icy, and royal. Something about the icy portal seems vaguely familiar.
I will inspect it further then.
You inspect it further. It's hard to place the familiarity. Is it the smell? Something in the air just reminds you of a place you've been before.
I'm going to look at the archway of the periphery of the portals. Typically, and this is true of the portals in Cormyr, I would assume, they are adorned with a specific type of carving or architecture. What do I surmise is the make of these portals?
These appear to be local make, as it were. They seem to be bespoke to the Zentarim that built them. You see no insignias that would suggest, for example, you might look for a coat of arms, suggesting that this portal goes to a certain kingdom. You might look for a language, something written, and you see nothing like that. There is a simple flat Z at the top of each of the 4 archways.
Well, the one with dust coming out is probably the most recently used, so I'll turn around and inspect the wall opposite of that.
The wall appears to be thick granite bricks.
Is there any direction? Like, are these both doors?
Those are both doors, yes. There are 2 doors on the east and 2 doors on the west.
By the evidence of the tracts, what is the most likely door that is used often?
It seems like the north door seems a bit more used than the south door.
I'm going to try the door.
You jiggle the handle. It's locked.
Is this door closed?
It is.
I'll try the other 3 doors.
All of them are locked.
I will pass the torch.
You pass the torch. Burnside is surveying all of his friendly, perfect acolytes. He seems very proud of you. He seems to admire your muscles, Gasmir. He seems to admire your jawline, Taldred. He looks pleasingly down on you.
So if this is the last day of class, when do we graduate to?
He looms over you, looking down at you, Brenner. Ah. That's a funny arm you've got.
It's a little itchy.
No matter. You graduate to, Portal Meet 1. I think you could probably stand to be an agent, don't you? Do you believe in yourself?
Enough.
He shakes his
Here's a
head.
question. Have you not noticed that you're missing 2 of us?
He seems to be checking things off of a mental list, Lissa Gasmir. He turns and cocks his head and looks at you. That doesn't seem to be consistent with my expectations. Missing 2 of you? I'm not so sure about that.
Well,
Here, try this.
open these doors. I will go fetch them. Make sure that nobody's missing.
Open these doors. It seems that there's already some type of maintenance problem at that door behind you.
Yes. It would be a shame if something were to happen to the rest of them.
Meet 1, meet 2, excuse me.
Okay.
He takes out his keyring and opens this door. Ada, an orc walks through this door and seems entirely nonplussed by seeing you.
I'll recoil a little bit.
He sees where you are and watches you recoil. His heart melts. He goes, "Let's get that one a shovel. You look like you were born to shovel."
Ah, Casimir. Okay.
We were missing one.
Yes, shovel, please. Can I have a shovel, Mr.
This one is so small. Here, come on. Burnside.
Mr.
How-
Burnside?
Now, since I was correct about one missing, surely there is another one. Are there any other places where they might be hiding?
Hiding. I suppose we could play hide and seek today. Hold on 1 second. I must get this one a shovel. Ada, Burnside hands you a shovel.
I'll take it. Is it a spade or
It-
a shovel?
It is a shovel. It says Cole Cormier on the shaft.
Is there a hand hook in the back, or is it just a flat pole with a shovel at the end?
It is a flat pole with a shovel on the end, but there is a hole at the very end to allow you to hang it on something.
I see.
The Dwergar here has filled up his wheelbarrow and trudges off to the west with it.
Thank you, Burnside. I appreciate it.
Ah, now, hide and seek, you said? As you wish. 1, 2, 3, 4. He covers his eyes, but you can tell he's still looking at you, Gasmir.
Oh, Gaspar turns and walks out of the room and talks to Ada on the way. We're missing nothing gold.
The door
Where's
clicks.
Anyone else?
The door clicks shut behind you.
Concerning.
We're trapped again. Okay, these are all automatic doors. But we can
Wonderful.
destroy them if necessary. I'll point to the one in the corner that I destroyed.
There is a door
Yes.
off of its hinges in the corner.
It's quite impressive. I didn't think you'd have it in you.
Well, I am very strong.
Yes, obviously.
So that orc is going to come back in here. I assume he's with the Zent. I'll look over my shoulder at the suit of armor.
It seems inert.
This is under somebody's control, but it's inactive right now.
Nothing gold.
I'd be concerned.
Tyranny Fang says, "The fact that you've made it this
Oh
far
my god.
gives me a lot of
Nobody
confidence
ever
in your
loved you.
abilities."
That's why you're like this. Shit. Fuck. She will, continuing to go down her little Rolodex of hatred now, will contact Brenner.
You
What do you
receive a
say?
message, Brenner.
You just hear Nothing Gold start raving about the room that she's in, the situation that she's in, passes along Ada's information.
We think they found Ada. At this point, Brenner's been flitting around the room, just jiggling doors. He has no real sense of the interior of this building. On the plus side, we're all alive. That's not exactly the warm weaning that I expected. I got nothing gold. He's gonna call out to the other two in the room.
Where?
Where are you?
Where are you?
We're in a training room. It looks like it's a sparring room.
Brenner.
A training room. Is there materials around? Is there anything written down?
Brenner, Kirsch looks up at you and says, "I've got nothing gold." Amarell turns and says, "I've got nothing gold."
You two? Just in a moment.
Is there anything written down? I know that there are weapons on table.
You see no obvious signs of correspondence here.
Just weapons.
There is an axe. There is a flail.
Okay, have you seen anybody else so far? Is it just us?
There's 2 new ones and an ogre.
2
You'll-
new ones?
I never caught their names. They seem a bit out of it. The ogre is, not nice. It's hard to explain.
Why is he not nice?
No, I'm sorry, he is not.
Oh,
He's, not trying to stab us, and neither of these 2. I think they're students.
students? Wait, what makes you think they're students?
He called himself instructor, and we're in a training room.
Okay, where are the students?
Brenner will just turn around and look at them. In the same room as us.
When you look at them, they strike action poses towards you.
Okay, Brenner, I need you to
Mhm.
repeat exactly what I say to you, to the students,
Okay.
and then give me the answers back.
Shoot.
What are the 3 common body locations wherein weapon contraband is stashed?
You 2. Quiz time. Where are the 3 most common body locations where weapons are stashed?
Kirsch freezes. He says, "Is this part of the test?"
Yep.
Fuck. What is it again?
Where are
Emerald.
the...
Emerald says, is it the armor? Is it the helm? The helm. That's one. The helm. Kirsch
the
says,
helm?
Kirsch says, no. Fuck. It's... No, it's the other one. It's the other one.
Brenner starts to just tap on one of the tables. You don't want to fail the task.
So Taldred is behind Brenner, like just looming over, off to the side because he's not taller than fucking Brenner. He just got his arms crossed. And he's just giving a disappointing shake.
Bootleg chest.
Nothing gold. The fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities.
Oh, shit! Wait, did... No, okay. I hallucinated that he called me by name. In a desperate hope that he's evolving.
You may be hallucinating. I said nothing gold. I was distracting it to you. You
I'm
are
fighting it.
starting to question your sanity, though. Perhaps is this room designed to break down the walls of your mind?
Okay, I take it by your silence that they do not know the answer.
Right. Not getting an answer from these 2, he'll respond immediately with bootleg's chest after echoing what Yoros said. Nobody else has answered. That's from Yoros, though.
Alright, if this is wrong, I'm going to bleed heavily.
I'm sorry, we didn't establish that. Are you sure? And so you're just going to turn back around to the party at large.
I mean, that's where I hide them.
What about the waist?
You can see what's on the waist.
What about the back of the waist?
Taldrin posits the back of the waist.
You can see the back of the waist. Unless it's hidden by like a bag or a cloak.
You don't say.
Kirsch says, no, I know this one. The waist goes through its life support in the northwest.
I'm sorry. What?
What?
The waist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Taldred points to the girl, and he goes, "You slap him."
She walks over and does so.
He looks back over to Taldrin. I don't think he means that waist. He means the
I know. what he
pantomiming
means.
around his...
And yeah, and that's why he gets the slap.
We don't really have a lot of code crackers in here, nothing gold. Have you talked to Ada?
Yes, she's somewhere else in the cube.
He'll look back over to the door. It's been closed at this point, correct?
That's correct.
Fuck. You're just gonna sit up on one of the tables. You have
see-
2 other questions?
You said that there was an instructor. An instructor means that he would be interested in us retaining this information, right? One would hope. You said he was nice. Go ask him.
We're at this point, he'll foot over to the door, somewhat frustrated that we are currently locked in a box, and relay that. We're a little stuck at the moment. Until they get back, we got no answers.
They? Who else is with Ada?
Gasmere walked off.
The door in front of you is locked, Brenner.
Ring, ring, gas here.
Yes.
Are you trapped somewhere with Ada?
Down a room with 4 portals and a mysterious armor.
What's mysterious about it?
I wouldn't really know. I believe you should ask Miss Worthware.
Okay. Ada, Gasmere is telling me that there's an interesting suit of armor.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not a simple suit of armor and that it can be controlled remotely. Maybe somebody like an artificer like yourself would be interested in it.
Okay. I have seen a construct already, so it's very possible that it is more of the same. And
I believe the portals in this room are used for transporting materials. It looks like some sort of maybe cokes or burnt material is being carried through this portal. We saw a room with a Dwergar shoveling coal. I was handed a shovel.
you were handed a shovel?
I broke my staff, so I need a replacement.
Do you?
Anyway, where are you? Have you gotten out of your little room?
No, I'm still looking for answers. The construct that I was talking about gets activated when I give the wrong answer to the questions.
I destroyed a door in one of these rooms. Maybe you can do the same.
I was told that there are other people around you. Other students.
I haven't gotten out of this area, so I'm not certain. But I know that Tyranny Fang is here. Also, if you cast a spell, it'll cost you. Cantrips only.
You too? Huh.
Oh, you've already tried. Okay.
I guess that means we're close to the Shadow Weave.
Or we're closer to Mistrup's corpse, perhaps.
You hear footsteps from your west, Ada and Gasmere, and you hear a door opening.
I will attempt to feebly hide behind this armor, but I'm just putting on a show.
The door opens. It shuts behind Burnside, who points directly at you, Gasmere. Looks like I found you. That wasn't so hard.
Congratulations, you're very good at this.
He reaches forward and pats your head.
She slaps his hand away again.
You do so. He doesn't seem bothered.
Okay, so Nothing Gold, not knowing any of this is happening, continues with Ada. Alright, as long as you don't write on anything, I'm sure that the suit of armor will leave you alone. If you see some kind of instructor...
He's here right now, in fact. I'm gonna follow him.
You just catch the door behind him. Brenner, a door opens in your face.
I'm going to wedge my shovel in to try and prop it open.
You do so. You wedge the near side of the east door open.
And I'm going to try and follow him in to keep the other side of the airlock open.
With what?
My hand.
You hold it with your hand. You can see from the portal room to the east side of the training room now.
I will very slightly and performatively genuflect to Brenner and Taldred.
Okay, it's one more. We're missing nothing gold. She's stuck in her box.
Burnside comes into the room and pats your head, Taldred, and your head, Brenner, with each of his hands. You're both doing so good today.
I'm going to mentally say to Nothing Gold. Okay, we're all together. This orc seems to have the keys to this entire place.
Okay. I'm going to give you these questions. Just see how he reacts to them. And then she'll again repeat, what are the 3 common body locations wherein weapon contraband is stashed?
I'm sorry, Mr. Burnside.
The instructor turns and looks towards you.
Where are the 3 most common places on the human body where contraband is stashed? Do you know this answer?
Ah! A burgeoning customs agent. How good, how good. He pats you on the head, Ada.
I allow this.
He says, very good, very good. Asking the right questions, in fact. Well, you don't know the answer?
I don't. I'm here to learn.
He shakes his head. Oh, you were supposed to study. Did you forget that? Did you forget to study?
I must be too stupid to retain the information. Can you remind me?
I will. I will remind you to study the next time I see you.
Is there a library where I can study these facts?
Well, there are 2 libraries here in the keep, but you should already know that.
As I said,
He
very forgetful.
leans down towards you. He says, right. Remember to study, Ada. Remember to study.
I
Do I
will
make
remember to study.
Did I make it into the room or did I get stuck on the other side? Or...
Did you attempt to shadow Ada?
Oh, she did, yes.
Then I believe you did. And there now, I believe this one is wedged open and one is being held open by Ada. So yes, Gasmir, you move freely through the airlock.
Sir Burnside, one of our friends is caught in one of these rooms and we don't know which.
He turns his head. I'm not sure what that would have to do with your customs exam.
Ah, yes, I just want to be at full strength when the exam happens. My friends give me power. We work well together.
He looks down at you. He seems to be appraising you. Roll deception.
If it's underground, you'll have to add a +5 to this.
Understood.
$16.
He suddenly whips around and says, best at full strength. Think quickly, meet 2. He attempts to shove you, Brenner Oswick.
Taldred. Oh,
Meet 1.
yeah. Taldred goes, hey! He holds up his shield because he said, think quickly, me too. So Taldred was ready, and then he shoves Brenner.
He doesn't seem to remember your question, Ada, but he is admiring Brenner's fastness on his feet.
I will use this opportunity to let Burnside be distracted.
Burnside does seem to be distracted. He leans down
Gasmir.
to pet Brenner.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You.
Gasmir takes out the book that she hoarded earlier and she picks up Ada's hand and then slaps the book into Ada's hand and says, figure that out. And then she's going to wander off to look at the doors that we haven't touched yet.
Taldred is going to pull Brenner aside.
I'm being accosted at the moment.
Are you?
He is.
Oh.
Burnside is petting his head.
Oh.
If you call out to him, he'll look.
Taltrid is doing like a over here type deal.
Nothing gold. Tierney says, "The fact you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step."
I would like to retrieve my shovel, let the doors close, wedge myself into the corner of this room, and begin studying this book.
The airlock shuts behind you with an audible click.
There were more documents on the table. Over there. Gasmir points towards the wrecked door. Ashley's going to check on... Is this a door as well?
That is a door.
She'll check on that door.
This door seems particularly sturdy. It seems reinforced by something magical. Even without touching it, you can tell it has some type of arcane power behind it. Ada, you have to pass through the portal of the door that has been ripped apart by surely some massive creature of incredible strength. This door has been ripped off of its hinges. As you do so, Burnside shakes his head and says, "Many maintenance requests will have to be placed. Quickly, meet one." Where do you file a maintenance request here? He shakes his head.
Sorry, I'm a little lacking on the studies too. Those two. He's gonna turn immediately to the two not party members.
Amaryl says, 3 ZTB. Burnside says, "That's correct!"
In an attempt to dissuade any attention from himself, he's trying to push the energy of Burnside to those two, to sneak over to Taltrid.
Burnside
Jesus.
walks over to pat Amaryl on the head. Ada,
Slipping pet.
go ahead, you first.
He's just genuflecting towards Taltrid at this.
And then Taltrid whispers, he says, "We need to get rid of this guy before reinforcements show up. We can't keep this up forever, and he has the keys we need."
Let's get everybody together for.
I don't
Yeah.
think we have that kind of time.
Yeah, he seems to be playing along so far. You could just ask him to open all the doors.
He's a Zentarum agent. He might be playing dumb.
I don't think anyone here is within their depth.
Taltrid just shakes his head and says that the longer we wait, the worse this gets.
Your captain. Brenner will relent, slinking past, trying to provide some sort of flanking maneuver if anything were to go ahead. Posting up on either side of the room.
Is Gasmir doing anything at the door?
She inspected it, and then she's going to turn around and call out to Burnside and go, "Instructor, could you open this door, please?"
Burnside walks over to you and looks down at you. He thinks about your request and says, "That is a testing chamber. Shouldn't you know that? Quick,
Like,
where are
yes,
all
are we
the
not here for the test?
where are all the testing chambers here inside the keep?"
Well, here's one, obviously.
Kirsch sticks his head over behind you, Euros, and says, 1 ZTE, 4 KP3? Burnside says, "That's correct." Very good.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was about to say as well. Now, could you open it?
He doesn't seem to notice you. He's patting Kirsch on the head.
How's it going, Gasmir?
Nothing gold.
Terribly.
Tyranny says, the fact you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step.
I'm about to commit a murder.
Why?
The instructor is being most unhelpful. There is a door to a testing chamber, evidently. Surely there's something of interest in there.
Yes, that's where I am currently, and I do not want you to go in there.
Well, that is good to know, but would you not like to escape the chamber?
I think we need to figure out these answers first. I think that if you appear too interested in this door, you're gonna give him away. I hope that nobody has said out loud that they are looking for me.
No, I wasn't paying attention. Hopefully not.
Okay, are you convincing? Are you being convincing as a student? You were very good at that once.
I wouldn't really say I was very good at it, but...
Well, you delighted me with how well you picked up on criminal activities.
Yes, well... anything to upset my family.
Hey, Kirsch.
Kirsch looks over at you and says, yes, what?
Do you have your study guide on?
He suddenly goes white. He says, no, shit! It's in the barracks. Was I supposed to? I didn't know this was open book. Instructor, is this open book? Amarel pantomimes opening a book.
So while they're panicking about that, is there anything interesting on these tables? I've just been kind of looking at them out of curiosity while everybody's doing their own thing.
Do simple weapons interest you?
Sometimes.
You find a morning star, a flail, a shield, an axe. Simple bolts for a crossbow, 3 of them. There are 2 armor racks in the middle which hold simple black armor.
Morelli, you don't have your study guide either?
She quivers like a flower in the wind and shakes her head.
How fast can you get to the barracks and back?
Kirsch leans close to you and says, it's about 40 seconds. If all the doors are open. Is that right? Fuck! He slams his hand on the table. Burnside looks at him with infinite patience and says, it's usually more like 45. In a soft, careful voice.
Would you be willing to let him test it real quick? I taught him to be light on his feet, and I'd like to see him put it into play.
Emerald says, light on my feet, light on my feet. Burnside says, very well. Are you ready, my little Kirsch? And goes and walks to the door. He opens it, stepping into the airlock, and using his massive arm to hold both doors open. He says, Kirsch, go ahead and go. Kirsch sprints on uneasy feet. He's already gone. As soon as you say, remember, he's already sprinted out of the room. From down the hall, you hear him go, fuck! Burnside allows the doors to close, and they do so with a satisfying click. He'll be back.
With his study guide?
Do we want to take a 5? Or I just looked at the time. Do you want to take 5? And then
Sounds
I'll answer this. I'll answer the question regarding study guides. Let's do that. I'll be right back.
Hello. Hello.
How's the bird?
He's good. I just went out and
Oh, you're
played with him.
muted.
Hello.
Hello, I hear you now.
That's weird. Bird's good. I just went out and played with him a little bit. Had to take one of the parakeets to the vet yesterday.
For a routine thing?
No, I thought she was egg bound, because she was ripping off a bunch of feathers.
What does that mean, egg bound?
I mean, she can't lay. She has an egg stuck.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. No. She's not egg bound. Turns out she just has a fatty tumor. Which
Oh,
it's not bad actually.
okay. How old is she?
6 years.
That for bird.
Parakeets in captivity live about 7 to 15, depending.
Okay.
I don't know how old she actually is because she's a rescue. So, and I've had her 4 or 5 years now. I don't know when did Classic WoW come out? 2018. Something like
Let's
that.
go.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so I had the parakeets then. So, as everybody is well aware. So they're so I've had them at least 5 years.
August 26, 2019.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, I'm still sticking with 5. Sammy's new thing lately is he likes to roll on his back and kick his feet around and then try and bite your finger. And it's really stupid.
Hi.
Hello.
We resume. As Euros, you ask Professor Burnside about the study guide. He looks closer at you as if he's having a little bit of trouble parsing you and says, "He's not getting the study guide. I'm timing him."
Yeah, but he's supposed to grab the guide as part of the time.
He shakes his head at you.
It's a retrieval mission.
He looks at you suspiciously. Where did you come from?
Same as everybody else. Anyway, I'm just trying to help these two.
Which two? Meet one and meet two?
No. Arabellan are fine running gentlemen.
He crosses his arms.
I mean, I can help meet 1 and meet 2 as well. That's what I'm here for.
Perhaps you should.
I don't need no help from some 3rd or 4th meter.
Ada and Gastmere, what are you up to?
I'm rifling around in this room. It's something of a library.
Roll investigation. You get the impression it's probably a conference room of some kind.
Jasmine is technically trying to help. She stalls up and goes, "Miss Worthware, have you uncovered anything? Should I lift some of these things and move them around? Surely that will help, yes?"
Couldn't hurt. I rolled a 23.
One moment. You find several things as you rifle through. You find a key. You find several books and pieces of correspondence. One moment, Ada.
I'm going to be pocketing this key.
Couple more moments.
It's a map. I'll show it to Gaspier.
Wonderful. This seems useful. I'm not sure that we are on the same page here. It does appear that nothing gold is stuck in a testing chamber of some manner, and it needs answers.
You
I'm
find...
going to... Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. You find several books of questionable importance. You find a security map of the first level that you hope is current. And you find a small, slim, machined key. Please continue. Go ahead.
I'm going to tap in 2 locations on this map. The top right-hand corner or the bottom left-hand corner. And I'm going to say it's likely that she's trapped in one of those.
Well, if we are to proceed without arousing suspicion, then we should provide her with the correct answers.
Well, I can't call her, she has to call me.
Inconvenience.
I'm going to continue reading this book.
It's been almost 40 seconds. Kirsch should be back here shortly.
Burnside still has his arms crossed, and he's looking at you warily. Something seems to be turning in his head.
I'm sorry, sir. I just wanted to help.
He considers your words. You can tell he's making a mental note of something, Euros. And he turns and says, I best go check on him. He allows himself through the airlock by opening the door, and does the same with the next door.
I'm going to rush out after he clicks the second door and try the key on this door in the upper right.
This door has no keyhole.
Has no keyhole. I'm going to knock on it. Thung, thung, thung.
You hear a knocking on the door, Nothing Gold. Helpfully, Tierney answers the door for you and says, "The fact you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step."
So this is what immortality looks like to you. So in the past minutes, she's been sketching, not in the activation book, in her own personal sketchbook, the summoning activation circle for the Blade Fiend, and sort of busying herself by means of being able to distract herself away from the sound of Tierney Fang's vile voice.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
$14?
It's really starting to grate at you.
I'm going to go to the south door where I was restrained, and I'm not going to open it, but I would like to see if this key fits it.
This key does fit it.
Alright. I'd like to turn it slightly, but not open it, just to see if there's some give in the latch.
There is give in the latch. You feel like this key would open this door.
Good to know. I'm going to look around the room at the assembled tacticians here. And I'm going to say, guys, keep your nose clean for another few minutes.
Amarel wipes her nose quickly.
I'll wipe my nose too.
I would say just barged around and jammed a key into every lock that you could find. Oh, pro trick. Did you find anything else?
We're working on it, but I need... Oh, look at Amarel. I need the tree to talk to me.
Need the tree to talk to me. Need the tree to just be free.
I'm going to go back into the room,
Light on my feet, light on my feet.
and I'm going to open the ZG-17 common book and point at it to Gasmir and say, that suit of armor is a war construct, and I don't know if I have the authority to issue it commands, but it's worth a try. And I'll wrap my finger on the portion where it says, Reavers respond to simple declarative commands as a trained operative would.
It's worth a try. I'm sure you could command it to follow you.
I don't think I want to do that until we're a bit clear of the instructor.
Yes, I suppose that would be what. Where is the instructor?
He's going and getting the man from the barracks, I assume. Where is Nothing? If Nothing Gold calls you, please direct her to me.
Very well. I shall have you know that I have bad experiences with people walking off. They often do that to alarm their friends.
I agree. I think we need to get Nothing Gold and get out of here.
Ada, how's it going?
Nothing Gold, I think I know exactly where you are, and I have the answer to your first riddle.
Okay. The location of the contraband.
Groin, under the arm, along the ankle.
She writes these in the book.
You do so.
Alright, the book did not bite me. That's a good sign.
Or a bad sign.
No, it was really bad when I gave the wrong answer before. Anyway, she flips through the pages. Alright, the next question. What is the preferred term for a visitor to the keep?
Visitor? Well, the instructor either calls us operatives or agents.
No,
Visitor?
those would not... Those work at the keep. They wouldn't necessarily be visiting, right?
Not really sure. This map also uses the terminology intake. Intakes. I'm gonna continue looking around the room for more things. Nothing Gold, make sure to call me. We don't have the greatest actors in this troupe, and we think we may have been found out. But I think if you figure out how to open that door, you will find us.
Okay. Alright, you said agents, or what was the other one?
Operatives?
Did you hear one more frequently than the other?
Agent?
What were you called when the instructor saw you?
The instructor uses colorful terminology. I do not. He's a little. His lexicon is not quite broad.
Humor me.
Meat 1. Meat. Portal meat. That's what he keeps calling the two boys.
Shit. She writes meat in the book.
You do so. You hear the sound of a Blade Fiend activating.
Alright, she starts.
From beyond the west wall, Brenner, you hear a familiar voice yell, "Ha ha! Go, Blade Fiend, go! Never gets old."
Shakes his head. I'm sorry, just across the table, when the message spell or stone is being cast, is it audible? Do we hear at least the one side of the conversation on one end, or is this all telepathic?
It's all telepathic. So you cannot hear who's talking on this side. Nothing gold. This Blade Fiend whips around the room. Tyranny helps keep it at bay by saying, "The fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step."
She uses minor illusion to, in Tyranny's voice, yell stop.
You do so. It echoes around the tiny chamber.
She'll write agent next in the book.
You do so. Nothing happens. The Blade Fiend soldiers on, moving in circles around the room.
Okay, I'm not quite in the best condition here, but let's try the last question. What is a faceless vanguard vulnerable to?
Psychic and lightning attacks.
She'll write psychic and lightning.
You write that. As you finish writing it, the Blade Fiend goes just past your elbow.
Fuck. Alright, this isn't resetting.
Tyranny says, "The fact you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step. Make a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage."
And that's a nat one.
This is beyond starting to get to you. It has got to you. Lose 2 points of wisdom permanently. The Blade Fiend goes back to its little home.
Finding nothing better to do as the room has come to a standstill, Brenner will join the party in the library.
Nothing gold, talk to me. I don't know if I'm still on the line or not.
Yeah, at this point she's raving. Like, I think in the last 10 minutes it's devolved into this insane diatribe against elvish, half-elvish men and the woes they inflict on the world.
Cannot disagree.
What questions are we on?
Yes, what are we looking for?
She needs to know. I don't know which question she got wrong, but the one that seemed to snare us is what's the common name for visitors to this place?
Traveler. That's what he called him. He's gonna point back into the room.
Okay. Nothing gold. Hello.
Yeah,
Traveler. Try traveler.
fuck, how many times did that fiend go around the room?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either. Alright, she writes traveler in the book.
You write traveler in the book. Cherney Fang makes eye contact with you. He says, "Good work, Agent." The door opens.
Stay golden, pony boy. The door opens. She's covered in blood.
Yes. Yes, you are covered in your own blood. You see Taldred Talton.
Taldred whirls around. Oh, shit! Taldred, like, does she walk out of the room?
No, she's literally standing there disassociating. Like, just processing what exactly just happened to her.
Hey, champ. You good?
How does Taldred look?
Awesome. Amazing. I mean, these are words one would use.
In your estimation, Nothing Gold, he looks far better than Smithfield or Forbes.
Alright, we need to get out of here.
I'm going to try and get past Brenner when I hear
Yeah.
Nothing Gold's voice.
He would have tugged on your sleeve, thought better of tugging against Gaspier's, and pulled them into the room either.
Taldred would attempt to heal Nothing Gold if she doesn't, like, swat him away.
No, I think she doesn't really react when he approaches her.
Okay, so this is going to take 2 slots, you said?
That's correct.
Alright.
You look absolutely dreadful.
You get 16 points back.
There is a projection of Tierney Fang in that room who is fleshless, bloodless, and she just sort of looks deranged at that point.
Keep your mind on the task. There's a fleshed blood one around you.
Yes, alright, did you guys figure out where we're supposed to go next?
I'm gonna point at the map.
Or we have a map.
Okay, and what's our cover story? What have you been telling people?
We are
We're
agents in
students.
training.
To be
Agents.
Agents.
what kinds of agents?
Centauran agents, obviously.
NG, what happened in there?
The Zentarum are not just this. They have fucking positions in the Zentarum.
You mentioned it. And you gave her a shovel. Called you a customs agent. I think this is like a filtering process.
Okay, what's the next step?
I asked him that, and then he laughed.
Something about portal meat, was it not?
Mm.
When you say
Presumably.
portal meat, Amarell says portal meat, portal meat.
Those are the 2 I was talking about.
Did you take the
Oh,
did you
she's
take the
still
portal
here.
feet?
I think Gold walks up to this new person and like tries to grab her by the wrist.
When you do so, she looks you in the eye and repeats herself. Portal meat, portal meat.
You two are going to get along.
She presses her thumb over where her artery would be.
Remember. She quivers.
Are you a real person?
She has the mind of a conscripted slave laborer.
She looks you in the eye. Are you a real person? Is this a test?
I'm going to turn to Gasmere and I'm going to say, it seems like the average sanity of our group is swiftly lowering. I'm going to try and open this door.
Seems like a good idea.
Going to stick my key in the keyhole and try and open this door.
Your machined key opens this door. The airlock opens up for you.
I'm going to open it a crack and then think a little bit better. I think probably we should wait for Burnside. This is a pretty linear dungeon. I'm gonna close it back up.
How do you know that?
I have the map, Taldred,
Oh,
and I'm going to wave it in front of him.
okay. When were you gonna tell us that?
I just did.
Ada,
Right.
Burnside seems conspicuously absent at this point.
He's probably raising the alarm.
Probably.
No
Most
shit.
likely.
I bet you something bad happens when we walk through this door, but we really don't have anywhere else to go.
Doesn't look
I'll-
like it.
I'll go first.
No. Yeah. Brenner's shaking his head emphatically and then gestures towards the newly grown in arm. This thing first.
Me one or me two go.
Came in kind of fast.
I'm going to approach Brenner and press the key into his hand.
I am the key bearer. He'll take it.
I'm going to look at Taldred and I'm going to say, keep an eye on her.
Who was he motioning towards? She.
Context should make it obvious, but
Nope,
I...
not as.
Okay,
No, we have
nothing else.
multiple crazy people in this room right now, so no, I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Ada would expect you to know, but I'm gesturing toward nothing gold.
Thank you.
So we going in hot or what?
I don't know if we have any other options, but you can assess as you see fit. Where's Euros in all of this?
We're here.
But what's he doing?
I've just been standing here.
Just like slack-jawed?
No. Just kind of observing. Maybe slightly slacking.
Is there a quarterstaff on a table in this room?
There is a non-magical quarterstaff that you could take for your own.
I think I'm comforted by having a quarterstaff on me. I'd like to take one.
Have a nice crossbow if you want that.
Will you abandon your shovel?
I think I will.
You do so. You have a non-magical quarterstaff. It does provide a level of comfort and familiarity inside your hands.
Seeing her discard this shovel, it is clearly marked, correct?
It is. It says Cole Cormier on the shaft.
Now armed with a new arm, Brenner will more deftly take off his backpack and unstring the shovel he got 50 sessions ago. It's the same shovel.
It's the same shovel.
I knew. He'll gesture towards. It's the same thing.
What, standard mass-produced shovel?
No, it's fucking Cole Cormier, the miner.
So.
So they're here.
So they're here.
That shovel could have come from anywhere. Shovel's a shovel.
Well, it's possible. Let's get a move on here.
Brenner and Gastmere. To your west, you hear a clanging sound.
Does it seem like clanging against a wall or clanging in the sense of like armor?
Sounds like a hammer working at a brazier.
Burning the key. Brenner's just immediately putting the key in.
You do so. The door opens for you. You are faced with another door.
He'll ask for Gasmere to at least hold that door open, take the key back out, and open this.
She's gonna grab one of the weapons and shove it between the doors so she doesn't have to like be a doorstop for the rest of the people coming through.
You find a two-bladed axe that fits under the door nicely.
I'm sorry, I go through the next door.
When you open the next door, you become aware that there are many people in this room now.
You figured it as well.
There is a dwarf, a Dwergar, you realize. He is down on one knee, hammering something with this faceless reaver. You think he might be undoing what you did with your spear. Surveying his work is a small Zentish strike team, 2 Zentarum elite and their captain. He sees you and crosses his arms. He looks nonplussed. He says, "Do you know where you're going?"
That way.
The fuck? Do you know anything about this reaver?
Like that when we got here. Good to see maintenance is quick.
Don't try to open any of these artifices.
Didn't.
Do you
Try to.
understand?
Yes, sir. Brenner is at this point pushing into the door to make sure that we're not in a long funnel to get bottlenecked out.
Do you know where you're going? I can
Barracks.
tell. I can tell that you're new. Okay, barracks for the night. I was hoping you were more night people. Is that not the case?
Big morning guy here.
Morning guy.
Coffee.
That's a strange turn of phrase.
Somebody's got to keep watch in the morning, right?
We're headed toward 1 ZTA.
Hi. Okay. Well, don't forget your shovel.
Ah, yes, you're right.
The two elites laugh. They go,
I will retrieve the shovel from the room behind, grasp it in my hand, and hold it out triumphantly.
From down the hall, through a still open door, you can hear Tierney say, "The fact that you've made it this far."
Please keep going, please.
Going to shoot a glance at Taldred. You guys are fast.
You mean us?
I do.
Fucking right, we're fast. Look, even if today's your first day, it's best to know that you need to be on full guard here. You need to stay as frosty as you can. We've heard the rumors that there may be infiltrators. Do you know anything about that? Have you taken... okay, I thought you may have been trained on that. Well, Burnside's losing his mind, so whatever.
That's bad news for us. All right. Thank you.
You're going to 1 ZTA? No problem.
Yep.
Let me get the door for you. Hold on. The captain opens the close door, holding it open, and then opens the far door. The entire time, the Dwergar is hammering away at the faceless reaver in this enclosed space. Ping, ping, ping.
I'll softly nod at the captain as I pass through.
As you do so, he says, "Sergeant, hold the door for him." And one of his underlings holds the door for you. As you pass directly between them, it's hard not to feel a bit of panic.
Amarel, are you coming?
Amarel says, "Coming, going, keeping on my guard. Best stay above ground or they'll turn you into lard."
Yeah.
She says, "Block."
Follow.
What are they doing to this suit of armor here? Like, what condition is it in, and what is he doing to fix it?
It seems that someone has peeled back one of its armor plates as if to peer inside at the infrastructure beneath. The Dwergar has a ball-peen hammer in his hand, and he is using his full strength to work the armor back into the same curvature it initially had. We would call this bodywork. As you make eye contact with him, he wipes his brow and looks at you suspiciously, Nothing Gold.
I'm going to look at Taldred and look where the space where nothing gold should be, and then look back at Taldred.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
She sort of gives him a winsome little self-conscious smile. I always expect these to just roar to life whenever I pass by. It's a little hard not to stare at them.
I'm gonna give you a slight push to keep you moving forward. You can't get left behind.
As she passes this guy, I'm assuming an answer, but there's nothing, no distinguishing features on his clothes, right?
He has an insignia on his shoulder, but you don't recognize it. Roll history at disadvantage.
Flashes of genius to make it a 14.
14. You see an insignia on this Zentarum elite's shoulder. It depicts a griffin with its head pierced by a spear. Below this insignia, there is a large Z. It says 3 Corps. Euros. Amarel is following the Reaver now. She seems to have gotten mixed up and is now in a line behind the inert Reaver.
Just turn around and just tell her, come on, follow.
She looks at you blankly and says, "Parry!" and parries an invisible blow.
I will continue toward the west, regardless of who's following me.
What about this elite captain? Is he wearing the same insignia?
He is. There is some type of rank insignia on his opposite arm that you do not understand. However, you come to realize contextually that he must be the captain of these two. All three are extremely armed. They have shields on their backs and bastard swords at their sides. Their armor is black plate and fitted with interlocking plates. It reminds you a bit of Taldred's armor.
She sort of gives him another blushing smile and is like, "It's nice to see a friendly face," as she passes by.
He makes a comment under his breath.
Is there a door to my west?
There is not. There is an opening. Hold, I'm sorry. Allow me to...
No worries.
There's a hallway here, lit by a torch.
I'll step into it. Start heading north.
You see a hallway.
I'll call down. This way.
Euros, Brenner, and Nothing Gold roll insight.
Is it dim in here?
It is. These are low light conditions.
Crit with a 21 total.
7 total.
Unnatural 20.
Euros and nothing gold. That captain just did something that you have done many, many, many times, and you are intimately familiar with this. He just casted the message spell. He reported something to someone.
I think she'll cast message to Ada. They're a little bit onto us. Do you think it might be worth
Do you
me?
think it might be worth just moving through instead of dawdling? Let's go.
Please listen. Do you think it would be worth if I shift into something they can't see and see where they go through that portal system? I don't think this is where we're supposed to be.
If you stay there, we will not be able to get you. You need to stick with us. The door will close, and you'll be locked in. We only have one key.
So that's a no.
That's a no.
Okay.
Are there a lot of shovels in this room?
There are several shovels in this room. You see 3 shovels that are unoccupied. And Morel has the same thought you do and picks up a shovel and starts loading a wheelbarrow.
I'm just gonna grab the shovel and I'm just gonna tell Emerald. Oh, Brenner, are you still near me?
He's waiting at the entrance, if to follow up from the rear.
Should we bring her or should I leave her? I feel bad leaving her.
She whispers to herself. She says, shoveling, shoveling, staying out of troubling.
The last pet you kept died.
It wasn't my pet.
Mhm. I think she's fine here.
Okay.
I'm gonna open the door.
She murmurs to herself, shoveling coal, burning the world like it's a troll.
Mm-hmm.
We should take her with us.
You open the door, Ada. There is a Dwergar standing there. He looks at you, entirely unimpressed.
Oop, wrong door. I'll close it.
You do so.
Oh, I don't even have the key. Brenner does. Fuck me.
That door wasn't locked.
Okay. There's a door to my east.
That's correct.
Yes. Downstairs. We need to get to level 8. We're on level 1. I would like to nudge toward Taldrin and back this train up a little bit.
Taldrin's just gonna, like, give you room. He's just gonna back it. You can move through him.
I'm gonna try the door and assume it's locked.
It's not. It's unlocked.
I would like to open it.
You do so. As your map would suggest, it's an access hallway leading east.
I'll hiss back. Come on. I am impatient.
Are the 3 of you coming?
Yeah, I'm bringing my shovel with me.
Never mind.
At least have some items with you to pose as something.
I think we're kind of beyond that.
You are. I'm done.
Is the shovel sooty?
It's a shovel.
Sooty? Like
Sooty, yeah.
It is.
I think she wordlessly slaps her palm against some part of the shovel and then starts smearing it on her cheeks. It like mixes with her blood, so.
You create war paint on your face.
I'll open this door to the north of me.
It opens for you.
I'm hesitant to hug so close, Brenner. If you will indulge me and let me stay a couple steps back.
If you get stabbed and you die, because I'm not between you and the sharp thing, do not haunt me. And he'll step back.
It's very dark in here, is that correct?
It is extremely dark in here.
Can I see?
One moment. Yes, you can see these are. This is a right hallway here lit by one small torch.
I'm gonna hold my hand back to Tuldred and say, I'm just gonna look down these stairs. I don't know what's down there.
Okay.
I'd like to peek down the stairs.
Peeking down the stairs, you see another hallway that looks just like the one you're coming from, with one exception. It's even darker down there. At the bottom of the stairs, there's another right angle leading to the right. You can't possibly see around it.
I'm gonna come back up. It's more hallways. This place is a labyrinth. And I don't have a map past this level.
Well, we're out of options.
Forced to agree. Let's move. And down we go.
One moment.
As we're moving down the staircase, seeing newly war-painted nothing gold. Is that a ritual that I should know about, or are you just
No,
trying to fit in?
Yeah, I thought if we're supposed to be coal miners, it might look as if we'd actually been doing our job.
I don't think many coal miners walk around at full plate.
Is anyone staying upstairs, or is everybody going down the stairs?
I think we're all going.
Do we have total agreement on that?
I think so.
Ridley and Dave? Okay, just making sure. You walk down these narrow stairs. There are cramped hallways here. Ada Worthware, when is it?
It's like 2 p.m. by my estimate.
What about more generally?
When is it? Probably like 1380?
Probably. You find a single torch here, lighting a dim and dark hallway. There are many coal-covered footprints here.
The torch is mundane, yes?
It is. You size it up. There's nothing arcane about this.
I'm going to take a step forward. Pause for a second as if I'm thinking something that has to come out. And whip around and face Tuldred. You wanted to lead, so grab the torch. I can't be leading us around wearing a skirt.
Okay, fair enough, but you did have the map, so I figured, you know.
You need some work on this. Be more authoritative. People will listen to you if you're authoritative. It's okay.
Daldred is so incensed. Like, he wants to have a 10-minute discussion about this, but he doesn't want to do it here. So he's like, really? And he's nodding along. Yeah, all right. He grabs the torch.
Don't worry. They're right behind you. or should I say above you, Gasmir says as she's creepily crawling up the wall into the darkness of the ceiling and keeps swallowing everyone on the ceiling.
I will not get used to that.
You scramble along the dark ceiling, Lissa Gastmere. The narrow corridor offers little in the way of room to go above people. You're all extremely cramped in here. You can smell smoke.
Not
We
just from
just-
the torch.
Not from the torch.
At this point, now in a more isolated position, Brenner will pipe up. Are we just gonna gloss over the fact that we walked through a portal and then were separated and didn't walk through a portal?
I mean, these things aren't always an exact science.
Well, it probably should have been. I agree with Brenner.
The only one that showed up in the room full of the portals.
Those portals are not Cormyrian Portal Network portals.
Did you not wonder
Mhm.
what a terrible plan it would have been to go through a portal and end up predictably on the other side at a portal?
It's also a
That's
tremendously
to
bad
infiltrate.
plan not to have an exact output location of where a portal is. Sorry, Casimir, continue.
Well, there is always slight errors in teleportation. I believe it was all within error margins.
Okay. This is not my field of expertise. I trust whatever you have to say.
Everything about this is concerning. But you should concern yourselves with the call ahead, rather than how we got here.
You're right. Left or right?
Nothing gold. You can hear Tierney say, "The fact that you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your abilities. Now is the time to take the next step."
So there's a door south of us, and that's the only door in that area, right?
You can see two doors here. You can see a door leading east, and this hallway ends abruptly with a large, heavy security door that opens from the top, from the ceiling, and comes all the way down, almost like a gate. In the eastern hallway, Taldred, as you look around, you can see the hint of a door here as well. You hear a strange chugging sound.
I was going to have a listen for, like, any sounds from any specific directions.
Make a perception check.
16.
The chugging sound is coming from your northwest. To your east, down below, you hear some kind of like sucking sound, like some massive airflow moving.
Airflow could be good. I like that. I'm going to move towards the east door.
There's a door in front of you. It's heavy and
Taldred
iron.
tries to open it.
It's locked.
Taldred motions to whoever has the key. He said, who has the key?
That's me. A keyhole.
There is.
And we'll try to insert the key.
Your machine key opens the door, or rather unlocks the door.
Taldred pushes it open.
You do so. You hear two sounds coming from this room. One, there's the sound of air being pushed by some type of massive fan. And two, on the bottom of this room, on the south side, there are two large pipes and that meet in the middle. There's a massive rushing sound coming from them, as if some liquid is passing at great volume through these pipes.
Fucking knew it. It's the Cole Cormier thing, that's the engines. Except this one's not blown up.
I mean, okay. Are you saying Cole Cormier built this place?
I don't think they built this place, but they probably built that thing.
I'm gonna grab nothing gold. She seems to be languishing in the hallway. Come on, we need your expertise.
She just limply follows.
I will grasp her arm and lead her along.
Is it dark in this corner?
It is.
If I crouch down, do I turn invisible as I normally have?
You seem to. It's hard to tell without someone to verify this for you.
I will gesture at the pipes and I will just say, artifice.
What do you need made?
Are you okay, nothing gold?
She
Sorry
sort
if
of
I was-
twitch.
Sorry if it was too harsh back there. I didn't realize there must be a spell cast on you or something. This is a mechanical room, and I don't know what it does. I was hoping your expertise would help illuminate that.
Well, the other one was pumping. What was it?
Drilling fluid.
Drilling fluid out of a cave. I assume because this goes so deep, they probably need some way to get ventilation. And she'll look over towards the fans.
Make an intelligence check at advantage.
$23.
On the fan, there is a brass plaque with 2 buttons. The brass plaque has a tin plate that accompanies it. The tin plate says, Cole Cormier, asset number 29314. The brass plaque says, Catharin Company, mine safety fan Mark 7, manufactured 461. From left to right, the 2 buttons are marked E-stop and R-start.
Yeah, I said this is making it so people can breathe normally. And are there mines down here? I guess that's why we needed the miners. We could stop it, but I don't think that's advisable.
If that's what's letting us breathe, probably not. But what the fuck are they mining?
I don't know, but the alternative is that if we did turn it off, I could slip down there pretty easily.
We don't know what the other end of this looks like, though.
We don't know if there's another staircase, right? I'm just saying it's a possibility.
You said there was a door over here, right?
There is. There is a door directly to your north, Rose.
I'm gonna see if I can open it.
It's locked.
I'm afraid I've lost euros. Such a shame.
What's a shame?
Oh, there you are.
Did you
I
not see
thought
me?
you'd wandered off.
Nothing gold. This massive system, these pipes, reminds you of how a plant brings water from its roots up to its foliage.
Other door is locked. Can I borrow the key?
Not until we all go at the same time. Did we just not deal with like an hour of us being split up?
And it was fine.
Yoris, I know things have been going surprisingly smoothly despite the fact that we just ventured into Zental fucking Keep. This is the most important thing we've done and will do. This is not the time to split up and die.
Okay.
Are you not concerned about the loss of your magical powers, Euros?
Would you believe me if I said not really?
Does it not leave you feeling vulnerable?
No.
truly are.
Well, so you didn't see me in the hallway anyway,
Peculiar
so I still have
creature.
them.
Well, I wasn't honestly looking very hard, if we're truthful.
Then it's still working.
What if-
Regardless, you should stay near.
Nothing, Gold. Tierney says,
Oh, no, no. She's saying this out loud. No. We draw attention, be a distraction, but it will be pretty obvious the direction that we're going in. So,
I located Tyranny Fang when I got in here. He is about 450 feet below us.
Oh my god.
We're in the right place.
wait, that's not very far.
Straight down? That's pretty far.
Yeah. I mean, 10 floors, 50 feet per floor, give or take.
That feels about right. But he's here. I'm certain of it.
I just do math.
We're all impressed.
I'm impressed.
What about these containers next to Taldred here?
these are 2 containers of some liquid that connects into the larger pipe. You're not sure what purpose they serve. They are unmarked.
Taldred asks NG to come take a look at this.
What?
These containers, what purpose do they serve?
She looks.
You think, given your experience manipulating mechanical objects, that these are likely some type of additive for the water? It's unclear what they are. No markings on the
Likely-
cylinders.
It's likely something they need to mix in with whatever's flowing through these pipes.
Is there an area where they can put something in these pipes? That was to the DM.
Not in this room. The only ways you see of manipulating these pipes are there is a large switch which you assume must control a valve, and there are 2 thin copper pipes that connect to the main pipe there from these tanks that you're examining.
Is there a sound of rushing fluid coming through these pipes?
There is.
And when we inspected the original blown up pipe system, there was a pressure valve that was blown. Is there a similar thing here, like showing how much pressure is going through these things?
You see nothing like that here, Brenner, but you get the impression that somewhere in the system, surely something this sophisticated must be monitoring the pressure somewhere.
We probably shouldn't fuck with anything until we know we need it.
She'll call over to
That's exactly-
Smear.
Yes.
This fan can be stopped. You can climb. Do you want to go check it out?
Seems like a perfectly lovely death trap. Should we not check the other areas first?
Is this a doorway here as well, or is it just wall texture? I can't tell.
To your south, Heroes, that is a heavy security gate that comes down from the ceiling. It is currently closed.
I think in response to Gasmere, she says, without a hint of irony, the fact that you've made it this far gives me confidence in your ability. Now it's time to take the next step.
I see. Smith is looking. Just kind of staring a moment.
Awkward silence.
Let's go check out the other door.
Oh, come along. It seems the next step is leading that way.
Who's leading?
Brenner has the key, so he is trying to walk in front of everyone.
Mr. Oswick.
Watch in the corner.
Did we have a map?
We do not have a map of this floor, no, just the top floor. Is there a keyhole yet again?
There is.
You will do the same as always. Open the door.
Your machine key unlocks the door.
Don't you seem it's kind of odd they just have a master key sitting on the top floor? Either that or their locks are very generic.
It's a maintenance key.
For several floors?
Yes. For non-security areas, yeah.
Seems like an oversight. I don't know, it just seems too easy.
Please don't say that.
I'm just merely observing.
Brenner will just open the door.
You open the door. There's a lot going on in this room. Small conveyors are moving coal. It lands in small piles at the end of the conveyors. Something is producing massive amounts of smoke, which is shuttled through chimneys in the upper northwest of this room. You hear a constant put sound coming from this room. There are pipes here leading somewhere, carrying something. Occasionally you hear a sound that reminds you of the crackle of lightning.
So, they either buy out or extort Coal Cormier to bring all this fucking coal and pipe it to go do big machine stuff. They're building he'll air quote, life support system for the body of a god.
I think it might be more likely that they're building a mechanical army.
That or maybe Central Keep is a giant drill.
The last room looked like they were pumping water up. They're certainly mining this coal substance.
It seems like they're digging deeper and deeper.
I agree.
Ada,
For what purpose?
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Myth.
I thought it was magic that powered that automaton, but this book makes it sound like it's technology.
I mean, our technology's come a long way in the past decade plus.
And I need to go back to school.
I mean, when magic's out of the question, mankind is capable of quite a few things.
Yeah, like blowing up a city.
True. Among other good things and bad things.
These things are going terminate in furnaces.
I want to make sure that I heard you correctly. Nothing gold, because your microphone is coming in and out a little bit, Jules. You were asking about the terminators of these pipe systems. Do they terminate in something related to the furnaces? Was that your question?
The conveyor belts that's carrying the coal.
Yes, it's landing in an unceremonious pile just under your feet here, and to your east you see two hungry-looking furnaces that seem to be burning quantities of what you're standing in. To your far east, on the eastern wall of this room, occasionally you hear an electrical crackle from a large device that you've never seen before.
Far east. Okay.
It all seems to be connected by something. There are copper pipes that hold some type of substance inside of it. It's difficult to discern exactly what you're looking at. You've never seen anything like this before. The entire time, on the north wall, just next to you, you hear this constant put sound from some type of multi-cylinder device, of which there are 3 of them.
They're producing energy. Wait. Why wouldn't they draw on the shadow weave?
Maybe that's how they're drawing on the shadow weave. They have to build stuff to take stuff from the body of a god. That's why we had Ross and Company. That's why there's a cargo network bringing in a bunch of coal. I don't think they're mining coal. There's a room we just passed full of coal. Why would they have that up there?
Well, we're postulating here. Nothing gold. You said you had trouble casting spells. from the Seldarine, I assume.
Same.
Same. And
I
I have
haven't
trouble
tried.
casting spells from the Demon Weave.
And that's new.
Yes, that is new and atypical behavior. Perhaps we're close to something that is universally dampening magic.
Have you attempted anything, Mr. Oswick? Are you affected by it?
Brenner will try to generate something. I don't really have cantrips. Paladins don't get that. But I'll do some ineffectual attempt of drawing magic from this Eldritch.
You will have to be more specific and committal. You'll have to tell me I cast X spell, for example.
I would like to stop Brenner if possible.
Okay.
Please don't. I'm pretty sure we all know how this is going to end, and even if it doesn't, you've wasted one spell instead of two.
Sure. As if Brenner has a clue of what lexicon you just spoke to him in.
There might be something else happening here. Perhaps their resurrection of their god is not going to plan, and perhaps they have other plans of conquering this world a different way.
Nothing gold in Ada. You hear a crackling electrical sound to your east. Nothing gold. You hear Tyranny say, "The fact you've made it this far gives me a lot of confidence in your
Oh.
abilities. Now is the time to take the next step."
I'm going to kill. She said, pointing to the strange machine that's generating electricity.
Maybe it wouldn't be the best idea to rupture this device. It looks like it's perhaps explosive.
Just give me a few minutes. I believe we can subtly sabotage it. At the very least, we can minimize its output.
Maybe we shouldn't sabotage it while we're still going deeper into the keep.
Yeah.
Well, it's your judgment, Nothing Gold. I don't know how these devices work.
I don't think we're planning to come back upstairs.
What are you talking about?
I mean, we gotta leave, right?
Did you see an exit?
We didn't. I mean, there has to be one.
There's more portals.
There's
We
more
might
portals.
find portal keys on any of the personnel here.
I'm sure there is an entrance to the top of this place somehow. You have to get in here in the first place to put in a portal.
Okay, look. Whatever devices we may run into seem to run on electricity, lightning, which I can generate. So I don't necessarily think that I'll be hampering our progress.
If you think it would be productive, then do it.
Can she make, like, maybe an intelligence roll to see if this is even possible? Subtle sabotage? No?
You must infer and make your best judgment. No roll necessary or available. It's all led up to this.
Okay, she'll look at some of the, these valves here.
You're not sure what they control. Certainly the free flow of something, but you're not sure what it is. Many of the valves are warm to the touch.
The furnaces are connected to something?
That's right. These furnaces seem to be connected to those three strange humming and thrumming devices up on the northern wall. A series of pipes connects them. You can trace it even through the wall. It seems like something cool seems to come from the southern pipe, is processed in some way, and then exits on a northern pipe. It's difficult to see how it all fits together, but you can have a rudimentary knowledge. Something is making cold things warm for some purpose that you can't quite grasp. All the while, little bits of coal come from the conveyors and land at your feet. The piles are getting larger.
And then this pipe over here that's connected to the eastern machine is just plugged directly into the wall.
That's right. The valve for that machine is almost red hot. It's a bit smoky in this room. It's hard not to cough.
That's why Taldred walked out.
The hallway is strangely quiet, Taldred.
Taldred is sizing up the security good door.
It's big, it's heavy.
Any openings on it?
Absolutely not. It seems watertight.
Ornamental in any way?
Absolutely not. Functional only, which is consistent with the rest of the architecture you've observed in here.
Material?
Metal of some kind. Steel, perhaps. Something reinforced with adamantine, mithril. It looks to be a very tough door. Hardened, we would say. Could we actually? Do we mind? Could I cut the session here? It's getting pretty late. Could we pick up exactly here next week?
Sounds
Does that
good.
sound good? Okay, and everyone can make it? Everyone's good for next Friday?
Be-
Yep, yep.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you for coming. Sorry to end abruptly. Great session. See you next week.